I feel like a lot of gurus, yeah, they'll just tell you to like lock yourself in a room and stuff like that. Because I think Charlie Morgan's been in the game for about 7 years,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure it took him 4 years to hit 100K a month,
Oh
and it
well.
only took me just about a
Because
year.
you've been on yacht parties in Dubai with guys like Mike Thurston. You went out for dinner a couple days ago with Luke Belmar and
Yeah,
met some billionaires, and you have guys like Charlie Morgan and Hamza in your network.
I'm gonna connect Luke Belmar with the founder of Tether.
All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Adi, and today we have our second guest interview on the channel with Eric Kavelaars. You guys have probably seen some of his videos related to scaling your SMMA to 10K per month, 100K per month. And you've probably seen some of his stuff related to traveling and traveling the world through networking. And personally, that was one of the things that actually stuck out to me when I stumbled across his channel. It's a bit different than the standard advice the classic SMMA gurus will give you. So he's going to be providing a lot of advice and value for you guys today. So make sure to stay tuned. But yeah, man, with that being said, before we actually get into the questions, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, boys, let's get into it. So yeah, I guess for some context, we're actually from the same city as well, which is pretty
Hmm.
funny. But
Vancouver,
yeah,
BC.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, started my agency journey about a year and a half ago, and yeah, went from 0 to 10K in 3 months, 0 to 30K in 5 months, and then just started traveling more, moving around, and I that's something I really try to emphasize because I feel like a lot of
Mhm.
gurus will never tell you that, and
Yeah.
it's kind of secret a bit. But big thing is just yeah, just networking and traveling. And about a year later, I went from university dropout, just started an agency, and then exactly 12 months later, I moved to Dubai. So
Mhm.
there's lots of stuff I did along the journey, but we're going to talk a lot about
Yeah,
say
for
the
sure,
best.
definitely. It's awesome. So yeah, man, to start, I want to understand your journey because you said you got to 0 to 10K per month in just 3 months. So I want to
Mhm.
understand how you got started in the SMMA space because I feel like that could be super relatable for the people watching. In one of your previous videos,
Yeah,
you mentioned so you dropped out of university at 21. You were doing Uber Eats. So tell us a bit more about that in your journey.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I was I mean during college, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna be fucked in a few years after I graduate if I don't make something work. And it
Mhm.
kept on really hitting me at the end of second year. And then in the summer of second year, I was like, okay, I have to figure something out. Otherwise, I'm like fucked. So what I did is I just went on YouTube, started watching like, how to start an online business, all that stuff. And then I came across Ayman Ghazi and Charlie
Mm.
Morgan and all those guys. And then I pretty much made a plan. I told my parents I was going to drop out, and they told me like you can't do that at the start. They just at the start of it, they just said no,
Yeah.
we're not doing it. And then I kept on convincing them, and then dropped out. A week later, joined a course, started an agency, and then moved up to a different town, and then just went into a super deep nightmare mode or monk mode, and then that's
Mhm.
kind of how it all got started though. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. So that's actually my next question as well, related to nightmare mode, which, is a term you call it. I guess it's also similar to monk mode, right?
yeah,
So you mentioned it's where you disconnected from everything, really visualized your dreams and your success and focused on primarily just your agency. So tell
yeah.
us about that process and how it helped your success.
Yeah, so I think nightmare mode is probably the one thing that's a necessity for everyone starting an agency because
Mhm.
if you're just gonna like half-ass it, you're probably not gonna make it. You have to go like fully fall in. And the whole purpose of like nightmare mode or monk mode is literally just to kill off the old version of yourself and essentially
Mhm.
like transcend into this new person because that's the one thing that's gonna hold you back so much is just like your old self because
Mhm.
it wants to survive and it's gonna like prevent you from killing it by
Yeah.
not making you do the work and self-sabotage and all that stuff. So yeah, big thing is just doing that. Now, I even more ideally, if you're gonna start like ideally you start traveling straight away with other agency owners.
Mhm.
But that is kind of hard if you don't really have too much of a network. But that's
Yeah.
actually what I did. One of my mentees, he didn't really even do like a member mode. He just started living with some of my mentees in Greece and actually
Mhm.
no, it was Morocco. And now he's making like 10K a month, like a month later. So he
Oh,
went from
wow.
like 0 to 10K just because he surrounded himself with the right people. But
Yeah.
if you don't if you don't have anyone to surround yourself with, then just isolate yourself and just
Yeah.
surround yourself by no one and own people online and look up to them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very important part. But monk mode is only good to a certain extent because it can be very detrimental. Because if I just like stayed in my house the entire 12 months, I would not have made it to Dubai and not made all
Yeah.
this money. So it's like, yeah, it's super important to start traveling, networking, building a personal brand and it's opened up an infinite amount of doors for me. Like
Yeah.
I've like four billionaires in the past 6 days.
Yeah, that's
I went on
insane.
Luke Belmar 2 days ago and meeting Iman. So it's like it's just crazy just because of networking and traveling. This is all a possibility, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
for sure.
pretty
So
crazy.
we'll get into the whole networking part in just a little bit because that's something I really want to focus on too.
Yeah,
I know you're super big on that. But at what point were you at with the agency where you're like, okay, I need to travel, I need to get out of my town?
it was about between that 10 to 20K mark because I hit 30K when I was in Greece and I was traveling with the other entrepreneurs who are called
Mm-hmm.
Nick and Jordan. They're my good friends to this day. We were like literally just living together like a few days ago
Mm-hmm.
actually, and then we went to Thailand and then or Nick went to Thailand, Jordan went
Yeah.
back to Miami. But yeah, that was kind of the stage, and I realized like I kept on when I was at 10K a month. I realized like okay, what the fuck do I do next? Because
Yeah.
I was, making, I felt so rich, but I was like, okay, I kind of want to do something where I start traveling the world with other entrepreneurs. So I
Mm-hmm.
kept on visualizing that scene where I was just in a villa with other entrepreneurs in somewhere like Greece, like or somewhere in Europe. And then eventually, a few weeks later, I met these guys online called Nick and Jordan, and we just booked a flight 2 days in advance and booked a crazy like
Yeah.
Airbnb. Then we just started living together, and yeah, it was probably like that was such a good feeling just getting there
Mm.
and like I'm actually like making money off my laptop and I never have to work a job like ever again. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's,
insane.
it's a crazy feeling now.
Yeah, and you mentioned like visualization. So I had a question about
Mhm.
that as well, because I've noticed you're a big believer in manifestation and visualizing your dream life. I've seen you talk about it in many of your videos. So, and clearly that's working wonders for you because it's difficult for the average person to go from living a regular life to traveling the world, making six figures and living in a Dubai penthouse and that too like all within a year. So I'd love to
Yeah.
hear a bit more about that because, a lot of YouTubers say they talk about manifestation and visualization, but they don't actually talk about how. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
Okay, so there's lots of stuff that you could do,
Mm,
but top three things would be to read the book Reality Transurfing.
mhm.
So Ahmed Ghazi's kind of gatekeeping this a bit, but he has like read it above, I think it's above like 14 times. So that alone is like telling you something. And
Yeah,
a normal book, you're not going to read it like over 14 times. Like
yeah,
it's just like thing. So
that's true.
there's obviously something in there that most people don't know. And I've read
Mhm,
it and it's pretty much changed my life. But that's one thing I would do is also look into this guy named Neville Goddard. He kind
mm,
of teaches this method of actually how to visualize and manifest stuff very fast.
mhm,
It's pretty much when you just fall asleep and sorry, you don't fall asleep, but like you visualize right before you fall asleep and you try to visualize a certain scene which would indicate your goals being achieved. So, for example, this was me, sipping wine and looking over the sunset in a villa in Greece and on my laptop with other guys. Like that's what the scene was. Eventually, just
yeah,
came true later. So that's that. And also, I would check out the Gateway Experience by Robert Monroe. So it's pretty much just like a set of meditations, and you're able
mhm,
to do out of experiences and just manifest stuff super fast into life. But the big thing is just like visualizing certain scenes which would indicate your goals being achieved. So you can even like visualize you pulling up your, Stripe account, your bank account, whatever it is, and you just visualize, oh, I'm at like 10K a month, whatever it is. So
mhm.
that's definitely like a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And moving on to the networking part, that's something I find really interesting about your videos and your channel and, just your advice in
Mhm.
general. You're really big on traveling and networking. And in a different interview, I saw that you mentioned that as soon as someone hits 10K per month with their agency, the first thing they should do is travel, and we both know that a majority of these SMMA gurus say to lock yourself in your room and put in the years when building an agency, don't talk to anyone, cut out your friends, your
Yeah.
family, obviously, networking and everything like that. Um, so what made you want to travel while building a business in the first place?
Well, that was my whole goal at the start. The
Okay.
only reason I started the agency because I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, and I
Mm,
realized that was the best vehicle to do it. And I didn't want to work a 9 to 5, and I also wanted to travel and meet other guys online, and
mm,
that's exactly what I did. But gurus will not really understand that. Okay, there's the only reason why you're not scaling is because of lack of information,
mm,
and the only way to get that information is either through courses, but the information is super saturated, so it's kind of useless,
yeah.
or you get mentors or coaches, which I am a big believer in that, having mentors as well, because I also at the start got a mentor. That's also the reason I scaled so fast. But
Mhm.
the next thing is just like networking and actually meeting people in person and even online. Like this doesn't even have to be like in-person networking as well. Like you could literally just pay someone, just DM someone like, hey, can I pay you like $300 for a 20-minute Zoom call?
Mhm.
Like 8 times out of 10, they're gonna say like, yeah, it depends how big they
Yeah.
are. But if like someone doing like 50K or 100K a month, like they'll be more than happy to do that.
Mhm.
Um, and you just learn pretty much all the sauce. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of how it all goes. Like the difference between me being at now like 100K a month and even 250K a month, which is the next goal, is literally just information and also execution. But in order to execute, you need the right information.
Mhm.
So that's a big thing. But I feel like a lot of gurus, yeah, they'll just tell you to like lock yourself in a room and stuff like that. Because I think Charlie Morgan's been in the game for about 7 years,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure it took him 4 years to hit 100K a month,
Oh
and it
wow.
only took me just above a year.
Mhm.
So if you look at the difference between our actions, is he just locked himself in a room, did a network, and I put myself out in the world and networked and traveled, and I learned so many things from so many people. Because if you look at me compared to a billionaire, they obviously view the world in a different way, and they
Yeah,
know
for
certain
sure.
things I don't know. So I'm just going to try to isolate things that they know, learn their paradigms, adopt their paradigms, and then just
Mhm.
execute on it, and then obviously get to their stage. But obviously, I can't do like a billion just yet, but like
Yeah.
we're definitely there. So
Almost there,
so yeah,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you mentioned you met what's his name? Sorry, Jordan and somebody else through networking, right? So how'd you even go about
Nick,
meeting
yeah.
these guys?
So honestly, I'd probably just say this was kind of just like pure luck. I mean, I think it was also like manifestation as well, but
Hmm.
I just kept on visualizing that. And then one random day, I just downloaded Discord for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I think joined a random community. And I was going through all my old communities, and there was this one thing, one community by Arlen Moore called Maxi. It was
Hmm.
like a
Oh yeah,
mindset
Arlen, yeah. I've
software
seen that one.
thing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So there was like a chat in there, and I just clicked on it. And then I went into another chat in there. And then I was scrolling through, and then I saw this one text in there from Jordan, and it said, "Hey, looking for some guys to go split a villa with in Portugal. I'm pretty flexible." And then I just messaged him. We got on a call, absolutely kicked it off, and then we booked a flight. I think like 1 or 2 weeks later, and then started traveling the world
Yeah,
with him pretty
that's
much
awesome.
all of 2023. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy. Because I remember when I started following your Instagrams, every week you're just in like a new location. So like, what are all the countries you guys have hit so far? Because I know you've done like Europe,
yeah,
Thailand, or something.
yeah. We've been to a lot of places. Like yeah, we've been to Portugal, Greece, Colombia, Bali, Miami, uh, Dubai, Cape Town, Croatia, Dubai, and then Thailand, Dubai, and then yeah, we've been to a bunch of other places like just for like a day or two, but honestly, I'd probably say the best place is Dubai and Cape Town. I've tested
Oh
out, and also
wow.
Europe. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
usually
Europe's awesome.
yeah,
I
yeah.
did like a 4.5 month trip like just last year in Europe. I'd say
Oh, sick.
Portugal was probably one of my favorites, to be honest, like out of all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
places. Portugal and Greece always like top the list.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, those are some classics. I mean, I'm gonna be hitting up like Hero Summer, so we're gonna be
Oh
like
yeah.
making out Marbella, so it
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
yeah, should
You
be
guys should
super
go
nice.
Ibiza. Have you been there?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a bunch of like degenerates, so I feel like there's like no
Yeah,
like
no, fair enough.
business growth there. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
but
that's definitely the
uh,
truth.
Dubai is like the number one spot if you want to grow in business like
Yeah.
fast. It's definitely the place to be because just even being exposed to the level of wealth here just makes you think like way more bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
especially like the networking connections you make as well. Like I'm literally living with a guy right now. He's in the other room right now, and he scaled someone like an info product, like a course,
Mhm.
from 250K per month to a million per month in
Oh
3 months.
wow. Three
So
months.
like yeah, in 3 months. It's crazy. So I'm like learning a lot from him, and he's literally like implemented a lot of stuff as well. So
Mhm.
even that alone, just being in Dubai, because I just had a somewhat good Instagram, and we just connected on there, started talking, and then
Yeah.
now we're just living together. So like just based off that, I'll make so much money off of, and I'm also helping him out with so many other things as well. But that's why Dubai is probably the best place to be. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And while we're on the topic of networking, once again, you're really good at positioning yourself for success and getting into the right rooms. Some context for people that are watching and that, haven't seen your videos. You've been on yacht parties in Dubai with guys like Mike Thurston. You mentioned, when we were talking before that you went out for dinner a couple days ago with Luke Belmar, and
Yeah.
met some billionaires, and you have guys like Charlie Morgan and Hamza in your network. So how did you even go about doing all that? And what advice would you give to someone who's also looking to network in the same way?
So the biggest thing is like you have to build yourself in a certain way, which other people will just want to network with you.
Mhm.
That's probably the biggest thing. Now, obviously, this is like Luke Bimar didn't want to like I wanted to network with him. So
Yeah.
what happened? Like for some context, the way that I met the billionaires was just because I had a YouTube channel because someone else saw my YouTube channel. We went on for dinner and then we started talking. We were actually talking for a few months just online. And then after dinner, he's like, yo, we're going on yacht with a few billionaires. Founder of Tether's going to be there, founder
Oh
of
wow.
Shiba Inu as well. So if you want, you can come along. I'm like, okay, sick, let's do it. And then I go there, meet some billionaires, and it was pretty insane. Like they rented out the yacht for like 500K for 7 days,
Oh wow.
which is insane. It's a crazy yacht, but
Yeah.
that's how that happened. So literally just through YouTube and Instagram and just building yourself up in a way which people want to network with you automatically.
Mhm.
And then how I met Luke Belmore was I also had a good Instagram, good YouTube. People saw me, and this guy reached out to me. He actually became my business coach because he's looking for people to help out. And then
Mhm.
one of his clients, his name is Moritz Neo, and
Mhm.
he was also in Dubai. He connected us together, and then we went on lunch, went to the pool, rented out some Lambos, and then he's like, "Yo, we're going to dinner with Luke Belmar. Do you want to come?" I'm like, "Sure." And then yeah, so like but the core thing down is literally just because I had a good Instagram and I had a good YouTube, and people wanted to network with me. So that's like the
Mhm.
biggest thing is build yourself up in a way in which people want to network with you, but you can also do that at the start.
Yeah.
So it's also like an exponential effect. Like, for example, I'm going to connect Luke Belmar with the founder of Tether, like the billionaire
Mhm.
guys. So even that is like insane value. So
Yeah.
if you do that, then like you're just blessed pretty much.
100%. And that's one thing like what you just mentioned right now. Because when I was watching that video where you're like, I just made 100K from one dinner. I noticed
Yeah.
that like, yeah, you're meeting other people, but at the same time, you're connecting them and providing value at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one thing that actually stood out when I was watching that video because there's like a mentorship and you connected somebody to that mentorship. So it's like a full kind of like a chain, like a chain reaction, you know?
Yeah. 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 Exactly. That's also the biggest thing. Like you have to just provide value up front and don't even ask for anything in exchange.
Yeah,
Sometimes
for
you can't
sure.
ask up front as well, but there's so many different ways you could do this. Like even just yesterday, I texted William Brown like, "Yo, I'll pay you $500 to just can I film a VSL in your apartment for like an hour?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So
Mhm.
just providing front by even just like this could be even being like money thing. Like you could just pay people to just to get access essentially.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
and I already knew about I just got introduced to Charlie a year ago. Also,
Mhm.
just because I had that personal brand and that value in YouTube. So biggest thing, yeah, just give value up front, connect people with certain people, or pay for their dinner, or tell them certain things, or help them like learn new things. Like that's the biggest thing, and it will obviously have a mirror effect as well. Yeah,
For sure. And like a lot of people watching, they're not going to be in that position where they're traveling a lot and they have that six-figure business or SMMA. So in those beginning stages, how would you say people should position themselves to eventually get to that goal? So would you just say invest in mentorship and just try networking in the beginning stages?
oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, paying for mentors. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of courses because
Hmm.
it's like I don't know. I joined a course, but I also got a mentor at the exact same time, like a day after, and I realized that like 90 to 95% of the progress was because of the mentor,
Yeah.
because and of course all the methods oversaturated and like you're not really getting any personalized methods so and personalized coaching, but a mentor will just know your exact situation and just tell you everything you need to do. So yeah, definitely paying for a mentor, and obviously networking with certain people, paying
Hmm.
people for like consulting calls. This is going to be huge. Like
Yeah.
just pay someone $200 for like a one-on-one consulting for like 20 minutes even,
Hmm.
or like it's whatever it is, and most people will be so happy to do that. And yeah, the big thing is there's so many aspects to it, but yeah, just try to like network and travel, get a mentor. That's kind of like the top three core principles I would say. But
Yeah.
travel is the most effective when you travel with other entrepreneurs and other agency
Hmm.
owners, and especially to certain places like Dubai or Cape Town and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that's also another thing. I think a lot of people even myself before, they come into the business with like a scarce mindset. And I guess
Mm,
that's what stops them from, traveling and wanting to spend money here and there. But in your opinion, it's like, in your eyes, it's definitely growth, right? It's not like, oh
yeah,
yeah, I'm spending this much money here, but at the same time, it's increasing my overall profits and like revenues and all that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. There's an ROI to everything. Like,
For sure.
but you'll get the maximum ROI if you travel to places like Dubai, Cape Town, or any other
Mhm.
entrepreneur hub spots, especially with other entrepreneurs. But you're not going to ROI as much if you just go alone. You don't really meet anyone. Like, it's
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
pointless. Besides resetting your environment, which it actually is good.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's an ROI to everything, and then eventually you get a certain level where you want to start risking your money way more and putting a certain things like crypto. Like, I gotta
Yeah.
actually I won't say the certain part, but I heard a certain thing which may be very, very bullish on a certain coin, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's the thing, and also just like taking risks with networking, even like
Yeah.
so. When I was in Cape Town, there's this guy named Adam Horwich, and he's best friends with Ayman Gadzi pretty much.
Mm.
And what I did is me and Nick, we saw him there, and we literally just asked the waiter, "Okay, we're gonna pay for his table." Table ended up being like 2K euros.
Oh
I think
wow.
it was actually 2K dollars like US, but it was worth it though
Yeah.
because we got connected with him. We started hanging out with him. He actually invited us to our house, so to his house after we went to the club. So it's just like that type of risk is like the higher plays you got to do, and
Yeah.
then it's pretty easy to get introduced to other big groups after that as well, and that's kind of how you can get into some groups as well. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And taking it back to the agency side, so how would you say traveling has contributed to your success in SMMA and with your agency?
It's definitely a massive part
Hmm.
because the big thing is also like resetting your environment because if you're in like your old environment, then you're not going to scale as fast compared to being in a place like Dubai, for example, because you just
Yeah.
think like way bigger. But
Hmm.
the big thing is just like traveling with other agency owners because at the time that's what I was doing. And even for example, with one of my mentees, like the guy went to Morocco and then a month later it's 10K a month just because he traveled with other entrepreneurs and other
Yeah.
agency owners. Actually, all of them were agency owners, but like if he didn't do that, then he would probably not be a 10K month right now.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's the thing. It's really just putting yourself in the right rooms. And I'm not a big fan of like traveling alone. I mean, travel alone is necessary sometimes if you really need to, reset your environment, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and go in memory mode, whatever it is. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's kind of what I would say.
For sure. And I'd love to hear how you stay focused and on work and building a business when you're constantly like flying around and going to all these events. Obviously, you said if you're traveling with a group of entrepreneurs, like everyone's kind of focused and dialed down.
Yeah,
But how would you say you manage, going out and not getting distracted by all these, you're living in Dubai, driving these
yeah,
fancy
yeah.
cars and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's honestly hard. Like it is pretty distracting because
Mhm.
it's almost like a paradox. There's almost too much networking in Dubai to the point where you network too much, but you don't execute on anything because you're so busy networking.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there's been some days where I'll literally have like straight up just zero time to do business because I wake up and I immediately go to the door to go to coffee meet someone or go to the beach to meet someone or go to
Mhm.
lunch or breakfast. And then straight after we go to the pool and then straight after we rent a Lambo and then straight after we go to dinner. So it's
Yeah.
like, and then we're out until like 3 a.m. and doing a bunch of random stuff. So sometimes there's just like straight up just zero time for networking. Um, but yeah, that's I mean honestly you have to just be very, very adaptable and
Mhm.
you have to realize that after a certain point, so after about 100K a month or so, getting to a million a month or even half a million a month, it's not necessarily based off hard work. It's more about the decisions you make.
Mhm.
And so this could be like who do you network with or who do you
Yeah.
learn from or who do you hire, stuff like that. Where do you travel to? So compared to just putting in like hard work, but at least for like the general audience, it is really based off hard work plus obviously networking stuff like that. Um, but yeah, there's
Gotcha.
there's countless examples, but yeah.
Mhm. And once again, on the SMMA side, um, what advice would you give to someone looking to hit 10K per month as fast as possible? Because I've seen a lot of your videos, and you mentioned people should be able to get there in 3 to 6 months compared to a year or 2 years.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why people take like 2 years or a year. Like it's not that hard. Like
Hmm.
you should be hitting it within like your first, few weeks ideally. I've
Few
seen that
weeks.
countless times, countless times, but it's you like if you're taking more than like 3 months or 4 months, like you gotta like switch something up because
Yeah.
hitting 10K a month is, if you break down the numbers, it's the easiest thing ever because let's just say that you're selling a retainer for 2K. So you need 5 clients to hit 10K a month, right? In order to
Mhm.
get 5 clients, you need a close rate of, let's say, I don't know, even like 20%, right? So that's 25 showed up sales calls. Let's say if you have a show up rate of like 50%. So that's 50 showed up sales calls. And then you have a booking rate of, I don't know, even like 5%. That's just 250 cold calls. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. Well, no, I don't think that's right, but let's see.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dima.
1,000. Okay, a
A
thousand
thousand.
cold
Yeah.
calls. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So it's literally just 1,000 cold calls. And let's just say even you have half that booking rate, it's 2.5%. Okay, you need to 2,000 cold calls. 2,000 cold calls over, you know, 20 days. That's just 100 cold calls a day. You can do
Mhm.
that in a month. But the big thing is just like mindset based. And it's obviously getting those first few clients, it takes a bit, but there's lots of things you could do to get those first few clients. That's the first barrier, is just getting that first client. And then it's pretty much smooth
Yeah.
sailing from there. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing I would say is just like it's 0 to 10K a month is, it's all mindset. Like
Yeah.
it's just the only thing you have to do is just put in the inputs every single day consistently and kill off the old version of yourself and transcend to this new person, and you'll pretty much hit it. And
Mhm.
helps a lot to just learn certain information. For example, paying for consulting calls or getting a mentor. That's the biggest thing, because if you don't, like, you don't know what you don't know as well. So
Yeah. Exactly.
that's a huge one. Yeah.
Right. So just to kind of summarize that, you would say, I'm going to kind of take this back to the whole nightmare mode and everything too. If someone's looking to get to that 10K per month mark, they should really just kill off the old version of themselves. Just lock themselves for a couple months, obviously while continuing the whole networking and everything like that.
Hmm.
But they should just kind of focus on inputs, do as many cold calls or outreach in general, and just, get
Yeah.
that first client and scale from there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you want to do like online networking when you're in like nightmare mode. I probably
Mhm.
wouldn't use Instagram because you kind of need to
Yeah.
just delete it for the first few months. Because for
Mhm.
some context, I fully deleted Instagram. I broke up with my girlfriend.
Wow.
I didn't see any of my
Mhm.
old friends for like 4 months straight, and didn't really talk to my family at all. I didn't see anyone in person besides like people at the gym maybe, or people in the grocery store, but that was pretty much it. I was only talking to people online, my mentor, and just guys that I was connecting with. And that's kind of how you have to do it. Because if you're just always surrounding yourself with people part of your old life, it's just like subconsciously going to hold you back. And they also
Yeah.
could hold you back as well. Because I had a bunch of haters as well. They were texting me like, you're on your pyramid scheme,
Yeah.
like you're a failure, all that stuff. And then,
Yeah.
a year later, I'm in Dubai and they're still like a 9 to 5. That's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's, you have to just ignore those at the start. And yeah, that's pretty much it though.
Yeah, for sure. And in your beginning stages, you were primarily doing cold calls because I remember I think
Yeah.
one of the first videos I came across was that really short video you had where you're making a call and you're like, I dropped my sandwich or something, my dog's eating it.
Yeah.
You know that one weird call you made?
Yeah. Yeah. That was so funny. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't actually use that script. I
No,
was
no,
just kind of
I
like
know.
yeah. No, yeah, cold calling is actually it obviously depends on the niche and stuff like that, but it's
Yeah.
super beneficial. And my scripts was, I was booking myself in just about 10% of dials. So if I
Mhm.
would call 100 people, I would get 10 booked in calls, which was pretty crazy. But now it's obviously the market's changed a bit, but
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I
Gotcha.
remember like providing the scripts to EasyGrow, like Trello Morgan's course, and there was just like a wave of just like, yo, I booked in like 5 minutes today, I booked in 10 minutes today. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
And I
it was
Yeah, for sure. And I'd love to understand, what you're focusing on right now and what your vision is for like the next couple of years, where you really want to see yourself.
yeah, for sure. So right now I'm pretty much just focusing on the mentoring program.
Hmm.
So I've got tons and tons of mentees who are making, over 20, 30, 40K a month, and just pretty much traveling the world and networking. That's kind of the whole goal. And I feel like I'm really separating myself by doing that, by
Hmm.
almost making like travel and networking a necessity and really teaching that. And
Hmm.
that's kind of what I'm focused on now. And really just trying to push that the next few years. Eventually scale it to, probably 500,000 a month, million a month or so, and then get into some other stuff. But yeah, I'm getting a bit of crypto right now, just doing
Yeah.
on the side. And that's all from networking as well, just learning the right coins to invest in, hearing the certain information, the right information. And yeah, but that's kind of the main thing I'm focusing on. So big thing is just like really prioritizing doing like, we're also doing like in-person events and stuff like that. Like we're doing like
Mhm.
traveling trips, travel groups. So yeah, that's the big thing. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And if people want to get involved in this mentorship and actually join your program and all that type of stuff, where could they find you?
Yeah. So just Eric on Instagram, just
Mhm.
at Eric username. Just DM me anything when it comes to mentor, whatever it is, or
Mhm.
you could ask me any questions. I'm always open to chatting and
Mhm.
helping you guys out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you could book an interview to apply for the mentorship, and then yeah, that's pretty much it though.
That's
And
amazing,
also
man.
on YouTube as well. Make sure you guys check out the YouTube
Yeah,
channel as well.
for sure.
Also check
I'll
out,
have.
yeah,
Sorry, what was
yeah.
that
Check,
last one?
I was saying also check out Addy's YouTube channel as well, because we're
Oh,
gonna get some in-person client or in-person like podcast soon as well.
yeah, 100%. If for those of you guys watching, if you enjoy the episode, make sure you know, like and subscribe, and let us know if you want to see that part 2, because Eric's gonna be coming down to Vancouver, even though I don't think
Yeah,
he wants to in the next little bit.
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I might have to fly in for the episode. We'll see,
Yeah,
but
just for the episode, yeah.
yeah.
And then you can head back to Dubai. I might come with you, bro. Come back to Dubai.
Yeah, yeah, you should. I'm telling you, you gotta get set up here. So it's
Yeah,
yeah,
100%, man.
really good
But yeah,
stuff.
man, that's all the questions I had for you. So that pretty much brings the episode to an end. And I'm sure you guys definitely found a lot of value from the advice that Eric gave and on scaling your agency, networking, and traveling the world. So make sure you guys check out his YouTube channel and follow him on Instagram for inquiries about his mentorship. And everything's going to be linked below. And hopefully, once again, in the next couple of months, we'll be releasing the part 2 of this podcast, which will be in person.
Yeah.
So if you guys enjoyed and wanted to see the part 2, make sure you like and subscribe. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.